Hi guys, this is Coach Shara. Thank you for checking out my channel and clicking out this video. If this is the first time you're watching from this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of my next uploads. Today, I'm going to share with you some tips on how to pass the Civil Service Exam or CSE based on my own experience when I prepared and took the exam in 2024. So, if you find this topic interesting, I hope tapusin mo ang video na to. But of course, bago tayo magsimula, konting disclaimer lang guys. Please keep in mind na nakadepende pa rin sa commitment nyo yung effectivity ng mga tips na babanggitin ko. Alright? Meron akong 6 na tips for you to pass or perhaps to ace your test for the career service examination. Tip number 1 is you should know the coverage of the civil service exam first. I highly recommend this one, most especially if gusto mo talagang pumasa sa exam. Bakit? Kasi kapag may idea tayo about sa possible topics na lalabas sa exam, mas nagiging sigurado tayo sa kung ano ba yung mga dapat nating pag-aralan. Unlike when we don't have any hint at all. And for the benefit of those who are not really familiar with the scope of the CSE yet, let me give you some info. But before we discuss it, note that meron tayong 2 types of exams for such. The first one is for professional level and the other is what they call sub-professional. I won't dig deeper on the difference of the two in this video. Siguro I'll make another one na lang wherein i-discuss ko in full details yung mga need nyong malaman about professional and sub-professional type of exams. Today, mag-focus lang muna tayo sa difference nila when it comes to coverage. Okay? So, para sa mga magtitake ng professional level, yung sakop niya ay numerical ability, verbal ability, general information, and analytical ability. At para naman sa sub-professional, yung ititake, yung saklaw niya ay numerical ability, verbal ability, general information, and clerical ability. Kung mapapansin nyo, almost similar lang naman yung scope ng dalawa. Yung pinagkaiba lang nila ay yung nasa dulo, which are hinighlight ko ng red para mapansin nyo agad. I-discuss natin further yung mga categories na nabanggit ko. Let's start with analytical ability. For this category, yung kasama ay yung tinatawag nilang word analogy or word association. So for this part, normally merong 2 pairs of words and each pair may connection. Either may connection sila sa functionality, pwedeng meaning, pwedeng antonym ba siya ng isang word or synonym ba siya ng isang word. Or pwede namang classification, and many more. So, I'll give you an example para ma-picture out nyo lang. Let's say, yung 2 pairs of words ay, first pair is yung frog is to amphibian. Second pair is snake is to blank. So, if yung frog is to amphibian, kasi yung frog ay naninirahan sa lupa, pero when it comes to fertilization and development ay sa tubig naninirahan, ano naman yung snake? Anong class siya ng animal? So, if titingnan natin yung snake, alam natin na yung skin niya or yung outer skin niya is made up of scales. So, ano ba yung class of animal na made up of scales kung tawagin? So, we call them reptile. So, yung sagot is snake is the reptile. So, again, kung kukumpletuhin natin yung 2 pairs of words na yun, ganito yung mangyayari. Frog is to amphibian and snake is to reptile. All right? Next, let's have data interpretation. So dito, normally, may binibigay na mga graphs and you need to interpret the data using those. Ganon siya. Third, symbolic logic or what we call abstract reasoning. I bet majority familiar dito kasi ito yung part kung saan merong 4 to 5 symbols na binibigay and then from the choices, need yung hulaan kung alin ba doon yung magiging susunod na appearance or turn nung symbol. Ganon siya. And last one, identifying assumptions and drawing conclusions. So dito may set of statements and kailangan yung iselect kung alin yung kinoconsider na assumption lang at alin naman yung conclusion. In addition to this one, dito pumapasok yung merong passage and after reading that, you need to come up with a conclusion. But don't worry guys kasi meron namang mga choices. So all you need to do is piliin lang kung ano ba yung pinakatamang conclusion para sa paragraph na nabasa nyo. Okay? Now, let's have clerical ability. Under this category, we have two items. The first one is what we call filing. And what we do here is ina-arrange natin yung mga words or mga phrases in an alphabetical manner or numerical order. And second one, we have the spelling. Self-explanatory naman siya. So I hope we're good with it. So yun lang naman yung pinagkaiba ng analytical ability sa clerical ability. Okay? Now, let's have numerical ability. First on the list is number sequence. So number sequence is somewhat similar to symbolic logic or abstract reasoning. Why do I say that? Kasi dito guys, merong series of numbers lang and then you have to select from the choices if ano yung kukumpleto sa series na yun. So parang ganun siya. And then second, we have the word problems. For word problems, if I'm not mistaken, dito pumapasok yung age problem. So it's one of the best examples for this. And for the last one, basic operations. So this is what we call the basic math kung saan ina-apply natin yung addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So either yung numbers ay in fractions, whole number, or with variables. So ganun siya. Alright? And next, let's have verbal ability. This category includes sentence completion, sentence structure, and error recognition. These three are related to grammar and correct usage. But to be more precise, for sentence completion, merong sentence pero may missing part. Therefore, from the choices, kailangan yung piliin kung ano yung word or phrase na kukumpleto sa sentence. Okay? And then for the sentence structure, it's kind of subject-verb agreement. So let's say, if the subject is in plural form, meaning marami, dapat yung verb is in plural form as well. So ganun siya. Next, error recognition. So sa error recognition, may complete sentence na ibibigay sa inyo, but then, pwedeng may error dun sa sentence or pwede ding wala. So, sumatotal, dapat mas-spot nyo kung may error or wala sa sentence na yan. Okay? Next, let's have the fourth one. Word meaning. So word meaning, normally sa na-encounter ko, merong story or paragraph and then merong isang word doon na naka-underlined and then you need to identify from the choices if ano talaga yung correct meaning ng underlined word na yun. Ganun siya, guys. Fifth, paragraph organization. So, paragraph organization, ito yung mako-consider ko rin na tricky part kasi pwedeng akala mo ito yung nauna pero hindi pala, ganon. So, basta sa paragraph organization, normally merong 4 na statements tapos need nyo siyang i-arrange kung ano ba yung nauna, ano yung second, ano yung third, at ano yung huli. Ganun siya, guys. And last one, reading comprehension. So, for reading comprehension, merong story, ganon, or may paragraph. Tapos, need nyong i-identify kung ano ba yung topic or what's the story all about, ano ba yung cause, ano ba yung effect, parang ganun siya. Okay? And for the last part, we'll have the general information. This category comprises the Philippine Constitution, peace and human rights issues and concepts, environment management and protection, and the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for public officials and employees. So kung iisipin nyo guys, sobrang dami ng kailangan pag-aralan para sa exam. But believe me, mas maximize nyo yung oras nyo kung mas magpo-focus kayo sa mga naunang topics na nabanggit ko kanina. Bakit? Kasi sa actual exam, yung coverage lang ng general information ay 5% to 10%. In fact, nung nag-take ako ng exam last year, nasa 10 items lang yung questions na related sa general information. So, with that, I highly recommend na mag-focus kayo sa ibang topics. And kung medyo may oras pa kayo, maybe that's the time na medyo habaan nyo yung study time nyo for general information. Okay? So, moving on. Tip number 2. Please choose a review material that works best for you. Bakit? There are tons of review materials that you could possibly see online or in bookstores. However, hindi mo masasabing lahat yun magiging effective sa'yo. So, for instance, ikaw yung tipo ng tao na hindi mahilig magbasa ng libro. Instead, mas gusto mong nanonood lang ng mga tutorials. Kasi mas dun ka natututo or mas dun madali mong nauunawaan yung mga gusto mong pag-aralan. So, it is reasonable na you'd go for the reviewers that are in the form of audios or videos. But, if you're the type of person who loves reading, then books or reading materials will work best for you. In my case, luckily, both work well. So, for those who love watching tutorials whenever they study, I recommend that you watch those off from Gurong Pinoy FB page and Team Laika YouTube channel. Para naman sa mga bookworms na kagaya ko, this is the book that had extremely helped me ace my exam. I bought it on Shopee. That time it was worth 677 pesos, including other fees and discounts. I really love this book because it's very educational. Actually, lahat ng nabanggit ko kanina na scope ng exams for both professional and sub-professional levels ay na-discuss dito. And believe me or not, mas naging madali for me yung pag-complete ng exam from start to finish kasi the book was designed that way. I don't mean na may mga contents yung book na lumabas sa exam. Kasi guys, we all know that CSE doesn't tolerate any kind of leakage or cheating. What I mean is, kapag nabasa mo yung libro, para kanyang winalk through sa pag-take ng CSE. So, kapag nandun ka na sa actual exam, hindi ka na masyadong mahihirapan. Kasi guys, normally, di ba, when taking a test, sa pag-intindi ng instructions pa lang or kung ano yung gagawin sa part 1, part 2, and so on, madalas medyo natatagalan tayo. Dahil ayun nga, we want to ascertain na tama yung gagawin natin. Kasi if mali yung application natin sa direction na binigay, wala rin. Mali mga sagot natin. So, with the book's help, halos hindi ko na binasa yung mga directions. Pinasadahan ko lang saglit, then sagot-sagot na agad. Kasi ayun nga, halos lahat ng mga exercises dun sa libro almost same ng approach or pagkakadrop sa mismong exam. Tip number 3. Try answering or try taking mock exams. I find this very beneficial because I believe through practice, mas nagiging comfortable tayo sa pag-analyze or pagsagot ng mga possible questions na related sa inaral natin. Likewise, mas nare-retain natin yung knowledge or info through application. And lastly, nahasa rin tayo sa pag-shade, of course. So, for those na may plan na bumili rin ng libro na nabanggit ko po kanina, meron po siyang free answer sheet and pen nang dumating sa akin yung parcel. Bukod kasi sa mga short exercises, may nakaready na mock exam din sa book na yun. And just to give you an idea, as for me, yung mock exam ay tinake ko ng twice or 2 beses. First take ko ay nung hindi ko pa nababasa yung book. And yung second try is after kong mabasa yung libro. I'm not sure if it's gonna work for you as well, pero trying to answer exercises or mock exams before reading something will help you better understand your weaknesses and strengths, aside from getting an insight of the possible topics. That being said, once you're aware of your potentials, magiging madali na lang sa'yo yung tip number 4. Tip number 4. You have to set a schedule or to-do list as you prepare for the CSE. Kung may idea ka na about sa areas na hindi ka ganon ka-confident, I really suggest na yun yung mas bigyan mo ng focus or maraming oras kapag nagsisimula ka ng mag-aral for such. Sa case ko kasi, what I did is I tried to cover everything. However, mas nagbigay talaga ako ng ample time sa mga topics na medyo tricky, katulad ng age problem and paragraph organization to be exact. Kasi apart from reading the book, nanood din ako ng mga tutorials about those topics to ensure na hindi ako malilito sa pagsagot sa actual exam. But then, I still recommend na mag-aral pa rin kayo kahit papano sa ibang parts na feeling nyo kayang-kaya nyo na. It will serve as a refresher kasi at the same time, who knows, baka mas madagdagan pa yung knowledge nyo about those topics. Pero ayun nga guys, hindi naman kailangang everyday or the whole day kayo mag-aral kasi nakakapagod din talaga yun. What I suggest is mag-review kayo every other day lang and just allocate 30 minutes or 1 hour of your time each day na mag-aaral kayo. Next, tip number 5. For tip number 5, you should know and secure the things needed for the examination day beforehand. And let me help you summarize those. The things that you need to know are, first, the date of the test. Normally kasi kapag nagpa-file tayo for the CSE, sometimes we tend to forget yung actual exam date. So with that, I recommend na you keep this in mind, alright? And second, of course, please know your school assignment. Bakit? Kasi if alam mo kung saan ka magtitake ng exam, 2 days or 1 day bago yung actual test, pwede ka mag-pay ng visit sa testing center nyo. And with that, medyo mababawasan yung iisipin mo on the actual examination date. Okay? Next, let's have the things that you should bring or secure. First, government ID. So for this one, I suggest kung ano yung ginamit mo sa pag-a-apply for the CSE, yun din yung dalhin mo sa actual exam. Kasi with that, may ensure mo na valid yung ID na hawak mo. Second, please don't forget to bring ballpoint pen or ballpoint pens. Bakit? Kasi sa actual exam, yung ginagamit po natin sa shading ay ball pens at hindi po pencils. Third, application receipt. So, hindi naman lahat ng instructors or proctors hinahanap to. Pero, para wala tayong worries during the exam, dalhin nyo na lang po yung application receipt. Okay? And last one, notice of school assignment or what we call NOSA. And for NOSA, maybe you could just take a snip or a screenshot from the Civil Service Commission website para kapag nanghingi yung proctor ng proof na doon ka magtitake ng exam, you could show her or show him something. Alright? And now we are down to our last tip for today, which is tip number 6. Actually, tip number 6 is somewhat relative to tip number 5. Nga lang guys, hiniwalay ko siya kasi pwede nyo siyang gawin at pwede rin namang hindi. Okay? So for our last tip for today, kindly bring something that keeps you calm on the examination day. If ikaw yung tipo ng tao na nakakaramdam ng kaba or feeling mo na may mental block ka whenever you're taking an exam, I highly recommend na gawin mo to. And if tatanungin mo naman ako if ano yung mga snacks na pwedeng dalhin during the exam, just bring something na hindi magkakos ng distraction sa ibang examinees. I mean, yung dalhin mong snacks ay yung hindi magkakos ng ingay kapag nginuya mo or kinain mo na. Okay? As for me, what I brought are these ones. A bottle of water and just a small tub of chewy tamarind candy. I suggested tip number 6 kasi if you have some snacks with you, you could take some time to relax your mind and also your nerves while taking the exam. Sana naman nakatulong tong video sa inyo. And if it's a yes, I hope you'd give it a thumbs up. And if in case may mga tanong or suggestions kayo, feel free to leave a comment down below because I would really look into them. All right? So that's all for today, guys. See you on my next videos.